Hi, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon. Today, I'd like to talk to you really quickly about entering large and small numbers, really large and really small numbers, into a calculator. Let's, for example, say you have a number like 6.67 times 10 to the minus 11. Now, it turns out that's an important number in the chapter we're about to enter into, but it's a very small number. It's 0.00000000000667, something like that. And let's say we wanted to take that really small number, enter it in our calculator because we're going to multiply by something. I don't know, maybe an enormous number like this happens to be the mass of the Earth in kilograms. 5.98 times 10 to the 24. Let's say we wanted to multiply those two numbers. Now, what a lot of kids want to do is, particularly if they're using one of these calculators, is they want to use the caret button times 10 to the, they type 6 and then decimal point and then the rest of it. They hit the times button. They hit the 10 button, or the 1 and the 0 button. And then they hit the caret button, that little raise it to the exponent. And then they hit negative, because it's a negative number, negative exponent, and then 11. And that, honestly, in some level works. But look at what we did. We pushed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 buttons. And furthermore, if you weren't multiplying, you were dividing, you'd probably want to nest this in parentheses. So now it's 13 different buttons you had to push. There's a better way. There's actually a correct way, and this is not it. So on the different calculator brands, the way to enter exponents is slightly different, but we'll talk about it real quick. On this calculator, this Casio, this EXP button is how you would do it. On this calculator, this EE button, I like to say it stands for enter the exponent. It actually stands for engineering exponent. But regardless, that's how we're going to do it. Now, because I bought a bunch of these calculators, I'm going to do it on this one first. Then I'll show you here. But let's perform this sample problem, the multiplication of this number and this number. So what we would do is we would enter 6.67, 6.67. You do not hit times. You do not hit times. I'll talk about how that's multiplication is an operation, and this really isn't an operation between two numbers. When you do it this way, you actually are saying, I think this is 6.67 times 10 to the minus 11. But that's really not what you want to do. You want to tell the calculator, hey, let's enter this number as a single number. And the way you do that is rather than hit times, you hit EE, the engineering exponent button here. And when you hit it, you'll notice that two little zeros pop up. Believe it or not, that means times 10 to the. This means 6.67 times 10 to the. Now, right now, it's the 0 power because you haven't entered this exponent negative 11. But let's do that now. Negative 11. And you'll see that now it looks weird, but that is 6.67 times 10 to the minus 11. Because we're multiplying by 5.98 times 10 to the 24, let's now hit multiply. Now, if you do it the way I'm showing you, you don't need parentheses at all. It understands that this is a number, and now you want to multiply by this number. Let's enter it. 5.98 EE, enter the exponent, or engineering exponent, and the little zeros pop up, which means times 10 to the, and you enter the exponent, in this case 24. You simply now hit equals. And the correct answer, if we've done everything right, is 3.99, rounded off to 3 sig figs, times 10 to the 14. Okay? There is no way to do this better. In fact, this is the proper way to do it. Now, what would it have been on this little Casio calculator? It's just pretty much the same thing, only I'm using the EXP button to enter the exponents. So really fast, 6.67 exponent Now you can hit 11 first and then hit negative, plus minus. Don't use minus subtraction, use plus and minus. I'll do it the way I think it makes the most sense to you guys here. Let's 6.67 exponent negative 11. There you go. Times 5.98 exponent 24. And you'll see that the answer comes out the same as it did on the other calculator. Now, if you're using a programmable calculator, and many of you are, it's just a slightly different situation here. Let's go ahead and show that to you. Turn on the calculator, and I enter the first number, 6.67. Now, on this calculator, you got to get really close to see it, but right above the comma button here is EE. I hope you can see that okay. So it's the second function of the comma button. So what we're going to do, so we are going to put in 6.67, hit second function, comma, and rather than the little zeros showing up, a capital E shows up. That capital E means times 10 to that. So now we enter in negative 11 as my exponent. I hit multiplication because I'm multiplying these two numbers, times, and now you hit 5.98. Second function, comma, the capital E shows up, and now I enter the exponent 24. Now when I hit enter on this calculator, which is equals, you'll see it comes out 3.99 times 10 to the 14. That's pretty much it. The only thing I would add, that I really should add, is let's say you were multiplying these two numbers, but then you were performing a division with a third number. Like let's say you were multiplying 6.67 times 10 to the minus 11, and then multiplying by 5.98 times 10 to the 24, and then you had, let's say, two numbers on the bottom, like, I don't know, 1.2 times 10 to the 6th, multiplied by 2.3 times 10 to the 4, something like that. The only thing I would warn you on this situation is when you get this numerator by multiplying the top, and then you hit divided by, then you do need you need to put parentheses on the outside of these two numbers. Let's do that real quick. I still, in the calculators that a lot of us use in this room, I still have the number that the numerator came out to be. Remember, I've created a more complicated problem. This number is the numerator. Let's go ahead and hit divided by. Now nothing changes on the screen. You got to be careful. That's why I really don't think you should be using your phones, because it's even what you see on your phone is even worse. And I'll talk about your phone in a second. Actually, I can't because I'm filming this with my phone. I don't have a second phone, but I'll talk about it in class. Anyway, I just hit divided by. I hit it again. It doesn't hurt to hit it 6 times. Doesn't matter. But now I'm going to hit open parentheses. And you'll notice the little parentheses icon shows up above the 0. And now I enter 1.2 times 10 to the 6. Remember, that's enter the exponent 6th power. And since I'm multiplying, I don't want to hit close parentheses. I'm going to do that at the end. Do that at the very end. So now I just hit times 2.3 exponent 4. Now I close the parentheses. This is indeed what those two numbers multiplied together equal. How do I know that? Well, the way it works is when you multiply, the exponents add. 4 and 6 is 10, and 1.2 times 2.3 is 2.76. It just is. So what's on the screen right now is the bottom. I had this number, I hit divided by, I open parentheses, I calculated the bottom, but I still have to hit equals to truly divide this number by this number. And there is your final answer, 14,450, roughly. Okay, we're gonna do a super quick 3-problem practice. I really want to stress that you don't use your phone. The reason why the phone is so problematic is You have to have it sideways, so you have all those crazy buttons. There is an EE button there. If you do that with your iPhone or Android phone, you turn it sideways and get the extended calculator. However, when you hit the EE button, you don't see the 6.67 anymore, like in the problem we just went over, 6.67 times 10 to the minus 11. If I'm not mistaken, you enter this and then you hit the EE button on your phone and then the screen goes blank. And then you have to enter the negative 11 and you can't see the whole thing developing in front of you. That's the whole issue. We spent, upwards of $150 buying calculators so that we'd have them in the classroom. You really need a calculator. If you have one at home and you're not bringing it to school, it should become part of the complement of your school gear, like your binder, you don't forget, your clothes, you don't forget your phone. You should bring a calculator for this class. I have a few to lend, but I don't think I have enough for everyone. So please, if you've for whatever reason not included a calculator in your complement of materials you bring daily to Hillsdale, get on the train, man. Bring a calculator. Go buy one for $10. Again, I bought a dozen of them, but I don't have enough for everyone. Thank you.